Hello everyone, I'm Andrew, and today I'm going to do the No Disclaimers book tag. I was tagged to do this by Kate from Chapter Kate, and I am ready to spill some tea. Just a heads up, there will be a couple spoilers for some of the books that I talk about in this video. The first question is, which tropes annoy you the most in books? And I definitely have to say it's when characters do not communicate with each other, or when they're angry and they give each other the silent treatment. I've read books where they've gone for several chapters without talking about an issue, and it just gets worse or it doesn't get addressed, and it annoys me so much. Personally, in my life, when there's something that I'm bothered by, I need to talk to somebody about it. When they don't do that in books, I get really, really frustrated. The second question is, which author do you think is overrated or overhyped? And I'm going to have to say, Jay Kristoff. I liked Illuminae, but I mostly credit that to Amy Kaufman, and I didn't like it enough to continue reading the series. And the other books that I've read by Jay Kristoff just didn't really grab me. They seemed like they were just kind of standard YA, to be honest. So I really just don't read any Jay Kristoff books anymore. Also, bonus answer for this question is Adam Silvera, but I will talk about that in one of my other answers later. Question 3 is, what are your least favorite books that you've read since joining BookTube? And I haven't been on BookTube for too long, just since December, so I haven't read a ton of books, but there are some that I didn't really like. I think that my least favorite is one that I DNF'd, and that's This Is Kind of an Epic Love Story by Corinne Callender. This book, I was so looking forward to it, but then the main character had no personality except that he likes movies, and that's not a personality trait. And then there was cheating, a lot of cheating, and it was not handled well, and I did not like that book, and I had to put it down. Also, there's a kid's picture book that I read called Julian is a Mermaid, which I thought was okay. It had a good message, but I don't think it executed it very well, and it could have gone a lot deeper. Kids can understand a lot deeper topics than you give them credit for, and I think it could have delved into the issue much better and been a lot more fun, too. The next question is, what is a terrible ending that ruined an otherwise quality book? And I have to say, More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. I was really liking this book the entire time I read it. The writing was beautiful, I was really sucked in, I devoured that book. And then the ending just really, really let me down. If I had read that book before coming out, I think it would have honestly damaged me. The message that the ending of the book sends is basically that you can't be gay and happy. All of the gay characters end up sad or worse, and I refuse to read any Adam Silvera after that. I just don't think that's a good message to send to queer kids or queer people in general. Question number 5 is, which characters do you wish weren't killed off? And I'm not going to try to give away too many spoilers, but in the second Six of Crows book, Crooked Kingdom, there's a character that I really wish had not died, but I'm not going to talk about that one because it's a big spoiler. But the main character that I wish hadn't died is from The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This is a big spoiler, but in this book, the ship's AI, Lovelace, dies. She has to be reset and is totally wiped. And it was just completely tragic. I think I cried a good bit when I read that part. However, her death was sort of necessary to set up one of the main characters for the second book in this series. And that book I liked maybe even a little bit more than this first one. So I wish she hadn't died, but I still really, really love the book, but I miss her so much. The next question is, what are some of your bookish pet peeves? And there are a few things that happen in books that annoy me. One of them is very minor, but it gets on my nerves, and that's when in a YA book, the parents of the main character are referred to by their first names. I see this sometimes in third-person perspective books, and it still really annoys me. I would really prefer to have that character called Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, or so-and-so's mom or dad, because it feels like there needs to be some sort of degree of separation, especially the way that most YA books are written. I really don't like it when the parents are referred to by their first names. I don't know why, it's just one of my pet peeves. Another one of my pet peeves, honestly, is straight romance. There are very few books in which there is a cis-het romance that I enjoy. There are a few that I really like, and the few that I like are usually when the men are soft boys when they are kind and they're caring. I really cannot stand any of that brooding YA hero or any of those archetypes that you often see for the male characters in books. If there's a straight romance like that, I really can't dig it. Question 7 is, what are some books that you feel should have more recognition? I have 2 for this one. The first is a middle grade book called The Someday Birds by Sally J. Pla. This is a book about Charlie, who is a 12-year-old boy on the autism spectrum. His dad gets hurt in Afghanistan and is sent to a hospital in DC, which is on the other side of the country from California where they live, and his whole family has to go on a road trip with a woman that they barely know named Ludmilla, and this is a really, really fun and heartwarming story, and also it is Own Voices rep for autism, which I found really amazing. I honestly recommend this book 100% to anyone of any age. It is really amazing, and you should go read it. Then there's a series that I think should get a lot more recognition, and that is the Lady Trent series, which starts with A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. This is a 5-book series set in a fantasy world that doesn't have magic, but it does have dragons. It's set in sort of an equivalent of our world in the 1800s, and it's about this woman who is traveling across the world trying to learn about different dragons and uncovering many secrets about them, and it is told so interestingly. It's very scientific, and the societies and cultures in this are so well put together. They are based mostly on our cultures that we have in our world, and I really love this. I devoured this. I bought every book as soon as they came out, and I think more people need to know about this series. It is so good. The next question is, what are your thoughts on censorship and banning books? And honestly, I feel like most people, I'm just going to say carte blanche that banning books is bad. I do not feel that governments or school boards or schools themselves should be banning books or censoring them. However, I have a few exceptions to this rule. I think when it comes to young kids, obviously there are some things that are, PG-13 or R, sort of, that they should not be reading about yet. And I feel like it's up to their individual teachers and their parents to sort of, not ban, but curate some of the books that they feel like would be appropriate for them. As a future teacher myself, as someone who has worked in preschool, I really think that it's important that we give students books that challenge them, that introduce them to new ideas, but that we are also aware of what is age appropriate for children. I do really, really think that kids should read about tough topics, but there are just a few things that may not be appropriate for them, but that they should be exposed to later in life when they are more mature. The last question is, who do you tag? I am going to tag Nicole from A Beautiful Chaos of Books, Krista from Books with Krista, and Emma from Emma Novella, because I love all 3 of your channels so much. That is my no disclaimers tag. I hope some tea was satisfyingly spilled for you all, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!